This episode is supported by Little Saints. More than a non-alcoholic beverage, it's a mushroom-infused cocktail that elevates the soul. Use code TheMothers20 for 20% off at littlesaints.com. That's TheMothers20 for 20% off at littlesaints.com. Now, enjoy the episode. Hello, team. I'm Sarah Brown, co-host of The Mothers, where we talk with industry leaders and industry makers who are also somehow raising the next generation. I'm once again recording this opener from thankfully sunny Nantucket in final prep for our live show, which is tomorrow. But if you're listening on release day, it's happening today, July 22nd. We'll sit with three incredible mothers behind some of Nantucket's most iconic brands. Best-selling author and producer Ellen Hildebrand, Bess Clark, CEO of Nantucket Looms, and Wendy Roulard, author and owner of Barnaby's. Vee and I are working hard to label the feeling of nervous anxiety as actually excitement, because supposedly they are one and the same. Our brains just get to decide which direction we want to go. We're also passing along some secondhand therapy for anyone that needs it. Apparently, if we sit in the anxiety state, we go into fight or flight mode. Short-term thinking, very reactive. But if we can get into excitement, we get into flow. And that's when expansive thinking happens. We don't react, we engage, we build the conversation, and we grow. So here's to labeling nervousness as excitement. And as one of our prior guests, the hilarious comedian and runner Laura Green said, how lucky are we to have moments to challenge ourselves and do something scary? So let's fucking go. But first, we have this week's guest, the bold and brilliant, just like her brand, Katherine Jetter, or Katie to me. Katie is a jewelry designer, gemologist, and the visionary behind her eponymous fine jewelry collection and the Vault Nantucket. She was born in Australia, lived and went to school in various parts of Europe before landing in the US, working in finance because her dad wanted her to have a real job, and deciding this wasn't for her. Then she did something I wish I did in my 20s. She began to execute a, quote, life plan. She knew that once she was in her 30s, she wanted to have an already established brand or platform to return to, and on her own terms, as a way of balancing both career and having kids. That meant starting her business at 26, which she did. And through it, as a self-described outsider to the industry, she wanted to do something unexpected. So she brought Opals back to the luxury jewelry market. Katie was able to ignore society's groupthink and actually see opals for what they were. Magnificent, colorful, empowering, fun. But listen to our convo and you'll get the full story. It involves a man at a gem show with opals hidden inside his coat and Katie's dad acting as her bodyguard while they explored opal mines in Australia. It's pretty fascinating. Katie opened the Vault Nantucket in 2016, which showcases designers from around the world. In fact, they're welcoming Melissa Kay and Soralina this July 31st to August 2nd for a trunk show featuring their new collections with personal appearances from both designers if you find yourself in town. The Vault is a place for Katie to do in person what she has always wanted to do with her brand. Help people fall in love with the stories behind the pieces. Break down the walls and unspoken expectations of decorum around luxury jewelry and help people have fun. In a way not dissimilar to the way kids do, playing dress up with their parents' or grandparents' old jewelry. Katie's story can seem to be all gloss and glamour, and so much of it is. She's been celebrated in British Vogue, The Rob Report, and named Best of Boston by Boston Magazine. But in this interview, we get into the hard and the nuance of life, including life with kids. Katie had a life plan in her 20s, but sometimes things outside our direct control interfere. Katie struggled to have kids, was in fact told she couldn't have kids, and then was lucky to unexpectedly get pregnant at 32 to her daughter. While she was building her brand and finally had the child she prayed for, her marriage was falling apart. Knowing she needed to maintain the thing that gave her some control, her business, she strapped her newborn into a baby Bjorn and headed to the Tucson Gem Show to pick out next season's line. And behind the opening of the Vault in 2016 is a mother in the midst of a messy divorce trying to start over with her young daughter. Something else in this interview is a refreshingly open discussion of childcare, specifically nannies. We, women, mothers, everywhere, are eager to make the support we have in, quote, doing it all be seen. It doesn't help anyone to pretend, and it erases the support, in this case nannies, from the picture, literally and figuratively. Part of that is being able to talk openly about the type of care folks employ or are lucky to have access to without judgment. And that judgment, I think, is really a symptom of a childcare system that is broken and simply unfair. We should all have access to the kind of childcare that works for us. The economic disparities in America, the lack of government investment in childcare, and therefore the unequal access to care is what deserves the harshest judgment. That's where we need to put our energy. Our family has been proudly and gratefully supported by incredibly talented nannies. Vee, as you all know, started that trend. Katie is no different. But not only will you hear us talking openly about the critical role of nannies for us and our kids, you'll also hear how Katie has invested in mentorship and helping them find their way to their next step. In one case, that includes hiring her nanny as her chief strategy officer. Anyway, I've been reflecting on this interview a lot as we picked it apart through editing. In so many ways, it's a story of how things are not always what they seem, or what the folks around you tell you to see, just like Opals. It's on us to look and notice and consider and find our way to what is true. So please enjoy our conversation with the bold and brilliant Katherine Jetter.
I can give you a different background if you want.
Oh my God, wait, that's fun. What is that? What's a lot? Amazing.
Work hard, eat carbs, spend money.
Yes, absolutely. Love this.
Did you choose those words or did it come that way?
Absolutely chose those words. Those are my life mantra.
I'm obsessed.
When did it become your mantra? These are, I would love to come up with my own statement of three.
I need that. Yeah.
Well, I like to work hard. I do work hard. I love carbs, could not function without them. And then I like to be able to spend the money that I earned, which at makes me feel better that I worked hard. So It's a full life cycle.
Love this. I love it.
We need t-shirts, we need merch drops, we need all sorts of things. Amazing.
It's a diamond on $100 bill made by Ashley Longshore. So it's supposed to be tongue in cheek and funny, and half the people get it and half the people think I'm really obnoxious.
They're like, wow, get over yourself. No, it's funny.
You take yourself too seriously, we're not going to be on the same page anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Well, amazing. Thank you for listening to Some Things Before. We usually do a little bit of an intro, but you kind of know me. You kind of now vicariously through podcasts know Vee, but Vee is amazing on so many levels and is such a beautiful human. We were lucky enough. She was our very first nanny and I couldn't let her go.
Now I'm still here. 10 years later.
She tried to run away to California. We stole her back here.
But
yeah, I know. Well, so Vee, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Katie, you work with some of your former nannies, are like employees of yours. Yeah.
My so Cece, who had a profession before becoming my nanny, she worked in luxury travel and had a serious career, but then COVID hit and the travel industry obviously stopped, and she was like, all right, well, I'm just going to chill. I'm going to do my yoga instruction. And she was available, and she was a friend of a friend's nanny. And I needed help because my au pair was going back to Germany. And she was like, sure, I'd love to help you. And she ended up being our full-time nanny for 2 years and lived with us through COVID and became a part of the family. And we just loved each other so much. And after COVID, she's like, I think it's time for me to go back to the real world. And I was like, no, like,
this is your real world.
You can't leave. I can't let you go. Like, what would you like to do? She's like, I don't know. I was like, would you want to run my company? So she's chief strategic officer. She's my right-hand person. I taught her she learned within 6 months how to sell luxury jewelry, and she does an incredible job, and she's amazing on every level, and we trust each other implicitly, and she's in charge of my business now.
Oh, that's incredible. I love that. I feel like, the nanny world, this is like a whole conversation Sara and I have had multiple times, but how like invalidated it can be and how people are like, well, when are you going to grow up and have like a real job? But like any opportunity that I have had post nannying has come from nannying and the connect, because I mean, if someone can trust you to be their nanny, then like they really trust you to do anything. You've already built that foundation of a solid like relationship, friendship, whatever. So I don't know. I think falling into being a nanny full time was like one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I feel like it opened my world to like so many, I don't know, you work with so many interesting people and you get to see the ins and outs of their day-to-day life. So I think that's so beautiful. And I love that you cared about her enough to be like, well, regardless of what our relationship is, like if you're with my kids, whatever, like I want you around. I love that.
Well, I had to sit down my daughter, of course, and be like, Dylan, I'm not stealing Cece from you, but this way you get to like continue to see her, and she's still with us. But
I
she
love
needs
that.
to like grow, and like, you know, she had to be a part of the conversation. And I think it's all about like empowering each other. Like I have a second nanny who was Dylan's nanny when she was 4, and she also started helping out at the jewelry store, and then she grew into doing sales, and now she also works in a high level sales position in the jewelry industry. Worked for me for 5 years, and it's like I understand that like it's not everybody wants to be a career nanny. They want to do it for a period of time, and then when you find people that you love, like if I can help them grow into their future dreams, like that's kind of the philosophy.
Katie, you're modeling the business that V and I were going to start, and our current nanny was built on this. It was, let's reimagine the nanny space and really lean into this intentional kind of matching mentorship that can happen often between the mother and the nanny, and often the non-mother too. But that is, I don't know, it's sort of a ladder into these other industries that you otherwise don't have. You're often employing folks that don't have those connections initially. And so you are their gateway. And I think it's such a beautiful give back, because we all need each other to survive.
It's also a beautiful way to, I don't know, says a lot about you and anyone else who's able to do that, where it's like, technically it would be easier for you to like convince them to stay your nanny, right? But like, you're like, no, I love you and I care about you on such a deeper level that like, how can I also help you succeed? Like that also means something. So
turns out Katie's a cool chick.
Yeah.
Who knew?
But I don't need to take over. We should just
this is
go right in.
It's relevant. It's relevant.
This is all part of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel I've found what the internet will provide about you, Katie, and I feel like I wish I'd known so much of your story. And this is just surface level, I'm sure. There's so much. You've lived such many lives, and you're so young to have lived many lives and tried many different things and been in so many different parts of the world. It's really moving, and what jewelry means to you. And I've loved this. There was some quote I found where you're talking about, no one needs jewelry. Jewelry is supposed to be a source of joy. This is supposed to be fun. Similar to the mantra on your wall. Like we're supposed to have a little bit of joy in this life. And I want to hear you tell your version of your story, but I just wanted to say that it means a lot as someone who, candidly, I am not a fashion forward person, and I want to be. And I'm not a jewelry forward person, and I want to be. And it's largely because I find it kind of intimidating. And I love that you're trying to make this fun. Like, you don't have to be the most impressive person to walk into your shop, because this is a source of joy, and you are very considerate, and you're making these things out of it from a meaningful place. So I'm so grateful that you're kind of forging your own path and kind of shaping the industry as much as you are building your own line. And I'm really excited to get to know you even more and share more of your story with our listeners. So I'm really grateful that you're here.
Thank
and
you
that you are who you are, and you've been through so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. So we like to start with hearing our guests tell the story of how they get to the Katie of today. So if you wouldn't mind indulging us in how you would describe the backstory of Katie, that would be amazing.
I was thinking about this morning in bed, like just kind of like mentally preparing myself for this conversation. And because I really care very much about what you're doing. And I want to also say thank you for creating this platform, because I think this is something that's so important. It's such an important subject. And I hope that this goes far and wide and deep, because it's an amazing topic.
Thank you.
Topic is probably too limited of a word, but you're the wordsmith, not me. I'm the jeweler. But where did this all start? I think that I came from a very traditional marriage where my parents got married when they were 18 years old.
Wow.
And my mom worked for the first 10 years from 18 to 26 while my dad went through law school. And then when my dad finished law school, she stopped working and started having children. And I love my parents very much. My dad is a very strong personality, and it was very much a thing growing up that my dad ultimately provided for us and was the final decision maker in the house. Mm. And I had a hard time with that as a little girl, as I didn't think that that was fair a lot of the time. And there are a lot of things that my mom wanted to do, or as a family, my brother and I wanted to weigh in on. And my dad was like, well, at the end of the day, I am the decision maker because I provide for all of you. And I decided, I think when I was like 12 or 13 years old, that I was going to make my own money because I wanted to be able to make my own decisions growing up. Yeah. And it's a driving force for me. I've always worked. I've worked from the second I was out of school. So at 18, it's a driving force for me. And I think that that's a big part of it, is that like, I think some mothers, because they're choosing to work, feel a lot of guilt around that. Whereas like, we all come from different places of like, what is it that makes you work? Like for me, like, I love being a mother, but it's not enough for me. I also really want to work. It's very important to me. And I'm not really sure what or who I would be like as a mother if I didn't also have my own identity. Yeah. And for me, it's not that being a mom isn't enough, that 100% is. It's just that I personally also need more things to drive me. Like I need to validate myself by knowing that I can provide and make decisions on my own. And so like, that's a huge part of it. Like what made me me is I think that like I started my own business when I was 26 because I also knew that I wanted to be a mom, and I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I knew that if I was going to have enough time to get my business started, I needed to start my business early. And that was actually a very conscious decision. It didn't just like happen by accident. I strategically planned out my 20s, and I knew that by the time I was 24, I wanted to be approaching a business model whereby by 26, I was starting my company. So hopefully by the time I was 30 to 32, I had 4 years behind me and I had a platform that I could go back to. And that's exactly what I did.
Good for you. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's insane.
But I do think it's a lot harder to start a business after becoming a mom. Like once you're like in it and like you're in the full swing of things, like having the mental space and the time to be able to start something, it's not impossible at all, but it's certainly a lot harder and it can take you longer. So that was
I don't know what you're talking about, Katie.
It's
so easy. We have so much time and space.
It's
and
like, what else could I do?
Yeah.
Because this is not enough.
Was it always going to be jewelry, or there was the idea was in some way you wanted to start a business by your mid-20s?
It was going to be creative. I won the International Baccalaureate Art Prize at 18. I was, offered the opportunity to go to St. Martin's School of Art and Design. And my dad was not in support of me being a designer at the time. Sure. He thought I should have a more substantive career. So I went into finance. And I was definitely not built for a desk job at JP Morgan.
I saw this. I was fascinated by this because you were sneaky. You said you got a degree in clinical psychology before that. Was that you, or is that your dad? Or is that a merging of the two? Okay. That was your idea.
No, that was my other passion. Like if I weren't a jeweler, I would have loved to have been a psychologist. I think being a therapist would have been awesome.
But I bet that understanding of people comes through in how you create your pieces. It's a very empathetic,
I would love
strong
to have helped
thing.
people, and I think I would have loved doing that as well. But again, at whatever it is in the UK, like 21, 22, when you graduate from your undergrad, I was like, I need to go make money. Going and doing a master's now and another 4 years of studying, I was like, I need to just get in there.
Yeah.
But it's the financial part of it, I think, was very beneficial to being able to run my own business. And having the split brain, right brain, left brain, being able to run spreadsheets. I live in Excel all the time. I'm very methodical. I track every single detail of my operations, my profit and loss statements. Like we're constantly budgeting. I mean, I think that's important as a creative to either have somebody who helps you do that or to be able to do it yourself. Like, it doesn't work to just make pretty things all day.
Yeah.
No, that's huge.
I know. So then you grew up in a lot of different places, originally from Australia, bounced around to various parts of Europe, it sounds like, and then wound up in the US. Started your business. When did kids come onto the scene?
So I started my business at 26. I got married at 28. And then I actually was told I would never have children.
Yeah.
That IVF wasn't going to work for me. And I got pregnant by surprise when I was 32.
Oh,
and I prayed for Dylan and just wanted her so much. And she's my little miracle.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Resilience is everywhere. That's wonderful. And then how did her coming on the scene, how did that inform what you wanted out of the jewelry side, out of your business?
So my personal situation at the time wasn't that great. And I didn't feel like I could focus on just being a mother when Dylan arrived. I felt like I needed to keep working. And so Dylan was born on Thanksgiving, and by the time she was 10 weeks old, I put her in a baby Bjorn and traveled to Tucson to the gem show. And I was very lucky to have a full-time nanny to come with me. And I breastfed and walked the show and bought gemstones, because if I didn't do it, I didn't have a collection for the year. Like when you own your own business and you're the creator and the founder and the everything, it was like, go with Dylan or don't go at all. And it comes to a screeching halt. So I did it, and I was absolutely exhausted. Actually, at the time, one of the shows wouldn't let me in with my daughter. So I won't name them, but it was kind of shocking that even like this was only 10 years ago. I was like, I have a newborn. This is my career. This is my business. It's my lifeblood. And can I come in with an infant? And they said no. So I was like, okay, well, like half the people now aren't going to get my business this year. I won't be able to buy. So I went to the show that I could. But no, I made my collection that year. I got on a plane, when she was 3 months old, did my first show, and I just did it. But I guess that to answer your question, I did it out of necessity. And there's a lot of moms who work out of necessity. There's obviously a lot of moms who work out of necessity, and that's maybe sometimes an easier choice than choosing to work. I had to work. And I have a lot of friends who and including myself now, where I don't have to work, and then the decision becomes a lot harder.
That makes sense, actually, when it's like, this isn't an option in order to survive and to provide for my child. I have to do this. So, but choosing feels societally, I'm sure, this, you're being selfish or whatever. So that makes a lot of sense. But,
And tell me more. I'm not surprised, I guess, about the not being allowed in with your infant.
What the hell?
But I was curious how we've spoken to people in various industries. To me, as an outsider, I feel like the jewelry space, it's sort of highly feminine, women oriented, but also maybe not the most warm, inclusive. I don't know. There's sort of a masculine, feminine thing that happens, I feel like, especially in luxury jewelry, where it's like, be sexy, awesome woman, but also don't show up with your baby. Is that actually true, or is that totally off?
There's lots of different tiers. There's lots of different tiers to the jewelry industry. So as on the designer side, you have a lot of cute women doing the design work. There's also a lot of incredible male jewelry designers and jewelers. When you get down to the stones and the stone buying and the manufacturing and the sourcing of the gemstones, which is where the buying occurs for the gems itself, I would say it's much more male heavy.
Interesting.
And it's also it's a worldwide business. It's global. There's a lot of, third world countries that are predominantly providing a lot of these gemstones. It's a very male dominant industry in terms of the mining and the sourcing and the distribution.
Wow. That's a whole side of things I've never thought about, or how that process works and where
it's so
where
fun.
You fit into that.
It's so fun. It's the Wild West, literally.
And so you launched your own line, and then you eventually launched your own shop, physical shop. There's Nantucket, but then also there's one in Boston, or off and on in the Boston area, or how's that working?
So again, like, so I got divorced in 2017, and I found out through the divorce that we had a home in Nantucket, and I
Oh,
went to live in Nantucket.
I
And I
love you.
needed to take care of Dylan and myself. And I was like, well, I know how to make jewelry, I know how to sell jewelry. I guess I'll open a jewelry store.
Yeah.
It also gave me the opportunity to stay home and
Mm-hmm.
not travel as much and be there with her in the summer, which was a very conscious decision. So again, like, just trying to figure out, like, how do you do this? Like,
Yeah.
how do I provide and how do I be a mom? And like, that was like what I knew how to do and how to do it best.
Mm-hmm.
And so we moved to Nantucket. I opened the store. Like, she helped me, you know, sat there on the floor while my friends helped me install IKEA cases.
Mm.
And we lived there year round for a year
Yeah.
and a half while we
Yeah.
like got ourselves like back on our feet. And the community was amazing. You know, we spoke about this, Sarah, before. Like, I think that it's really important to stress, like, we don't do it on our own. Like, we do this as a community of women, as a tribe. Like, I had so many women show up on my doorstep to support me and see me. And like, that strength of just the emotional support alone,
Mm-hmm.
like, was invaluable. And, being seen and like having other women like go buy something from this woman. She's
Yeah.
working her butt off, you
Aw,
know, help
Yeah.
her out.
Yeah.
You know, and having my nanny help me out and be in the house and also come and help me do store setup in the morning so that I could have a chance to drive my daughter to school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that teamwork, like those things that we do as women, which I think is very unique to us. And like, we multitask in so many different ways. Like, your
Yeah.
person, you know, as a nanny is not just your like child's person. They're there for you. And like, I mean, in a good relationship. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I had one of my nannies now works in the jewelry industry as well and worked there 5 years. And she started with doing setup and takedown so that in the mornings I could be with Dylan when she was little and take her to school. And then in the evenings I could go home and feed her dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So that, you know, evolved into 9 years later, along the way. So we're going to our 9th season now.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, I made enough money actually as a result of COVID and surviving COVID to open a second store in Chestnut Hill,
Mm-hmm.
around the corner from here. And then 8 months later, I had to close it again because I couldn't find enough employees, honestly. Like, right after COVID, it was just the employment market wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
And we were successful, but being open with 2 stores at that time just wasn't feasible. So that was sad. That was a setback, but I guess that's also the life of an entrepreneur. It's like you start 10,000 things and some of them work and some of them don't.
Yes.
But so now I do, I have a home office and I have a private salon. And so I see clients, you know, several times a week. And then I can also be 10 minutes away from school. And again, it's kind of just like finagling that combination of like, what do you want? How do I make this all work somehow together?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Incredible.
It sounds like you went through such a like condensed period of transformation and like mourning the loss of relationship and also like the idea of maybe not being able to get pregnant and then getting pregnant and then having all of these realizations of people around you. How did like you seem like you have such a strong sense of self, like even from the get-go of like, this is my plan and this is like the age in which I'm going to do this. How did like all of this seemingly like unplanned stuff, like even falling pregnant unexpectedly, like how did that rock your world? Like how did you like stay grounded and centered in you and like still manage to stay on this path where you're like, these are my goals and I'm going to get there?
Well, thank you for saying that I'm grounded. I appreciate it. I think
Yeah.
that
Oh my God.
I know for a fact that there's plenty of meltdowns and lots of
Sure.
crying.
Sure.
That's
That's human. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to pivot. Like, I think that's actually like the number one word I would say that defines motherhood and also entrepreneurship is the ability to pivot. And the faster you can pivot, the faster you are to the next solution. And I would say that's the most important thing. And 2 is like asking for help. Like, I'm very good at asking for help and not embarrassed to do that. Like, ask your friends when you need things, ask your family when you need things. Like, don't be afraid to speak up. And
how did you learn to do that?
Yeah.
No one we've interviewed knows how to ask
was
for
that
help.
because you had to? Like going on when you said before of like, I went back to work because I had to. Was this like you asked for help because you had to? Or
I don't know. I don't know if it's my personality or if I had to. Like, I really am not sure how to answer that. But I think probably you just reach a point where, like, if you don't ask for help, you're just stuck.
Yeah.
And like asking for help is the only way to move forward.
Yeah.
It's kind of remarkable because, and it reflects a little bit of your jewelry and your brand, where you come from. You strike me as a very independent, I will find a way, I will do it myself, I will always find a way to be okay, which often comes with an inability or it's not easy to be asking for help or to include other people in that process. And I think similar to your brand, it's like this beautiful, I don't know, like a collision of two sides of things that typically we don't see together. I love even in the high-end jewelry market, it sounded like, I don't know enough you can tell me the story of this, but the idea that you were potentially responsible for bringing opals back into the luxury market if they never were there. And as if this was I don't know, I would love to hear you explain why they weren't even in there in the beginning, but from the way that your line shows up, it seems you do bring joy and fun into something that is high-end and serious. And I think your backstory too shows a lot of ability to like combine two things that aren't always seen together. You carry a lot of stories in yourself. And I think inevitably that will lead to tears occasionally, but I think it's really, really important that you're able to do that. And I'm so grateful you've continued to find a way. But also tell me about the opals.
Okay.
Where have the opals been?
So, I could tell you endless stories about opals.
Yes.
So opals were found in 1890 and in Coober Pedy in Australia. Australia was still obviously under the Queen of England at the time. Mm-hmm. And so opals were brought back to Queen Victoria to show what her colony had provided. And she fell in love with them. And actually, Queen Victoria was a huge patron of opals. And in the early, like around 1890, 1900s, they were so much in favor that they actually started outselling diamonds in Hatton Garden in England. Wow. And were the most popular of gemstones. Just like if Kate Middleton today were to be like, I love opals, we're all doing opals for the next 10 years. And so at the same time, the diamond dealers were suffering in a decline in diamond sales. There was a German book that came out called Anne von Geierstein. Mm-hmm. And in the story, the heroine wears an opal pin and she gets poisoned. I hope I don't get this wrong now, but I believe she gets poisoned by her husband at the christening of their child. And some of the poisoned water falls on her opal. And the next morning she's passed away and her soul has left her body. And the fire in the opal has gone out. Mm-hmm. So the opal represented her soul and the fire in her soul. And this is in the German version, but in the English translation, a lot of people were illiterate still at the time. The diamond jewelers were like, oh, great, we're going to spread this rumor that opals are unlucky and you may die if you wear them. And so this was a very planned plot. And they literally like took opals back into like a form of superstition. And so people stopped wearing opals again. Mm-hmm. And so they went out of style. And then in the 1960s, there was a huge mine that was again discovered in Australia. And so opals flooded the market again. And that's why many of us know our grandmothers to have a big cocktail ring with an opal in it with big clunky diamonds all around it. And that was a thing until the 80s. And then everybody was like, well, that's ugly. And I would never wear that. And then opals went out of favor for about 20 years. And then I was like, somebody needs to do something about this. The opals are beautiful and they're Australia's national gemstone. And I'm Australian and I'm living in Europe and I can see all of these incredible jewelry lines and no one's using opals. I want to put opals back on the map again. And so for me, not coming from the jewelry industry, not coming from, a trust fund and a safe full of stones and a jewelry empire where somebody could show me the way, I was like, well, I'm going to use something unexpected and try to make, lemonade out of lemons. So I went to the Tucson Gem Show and I met this amazing gentleman called Mario, who's still my opal mentor to this day. And he had the most beautiful cut opals. And he had them like lined up in his jacket, literally in the inside of his jacket pockets, because he wasn't displaying. And I was like, will
Open
you
your
teach me
coat.
everything you know about opals?
What?
And I asked for help. And I was really eager. And I said, I want to know everything about opals. Like, how do I learn what I'm buying? And I want to start an opal collection. And he was like, well, you can come out to Australia if you want, and I'll show you the opal mines. And I was like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go. I was like, and so my dad, again, who, was tough, but also very supportive, was my bodyguard, and he helped drive me out to
Oh my God.
10 hours into the desert. And we went and we sat with Mario for a week, and we went down all the opal mines, and he taught me everything there is to know about how they're created, how they're mined, how they're formed. We sat on his kitchen table for 2 days with a bucket of opals and just turned them around and turned them around and turned them around until I knew the color and price per carat of anything imaginable.
Wow.
And he started cutting my stones for me, and I started my collection.
That is so cool.
I love that your dad was there as your bodyguard, because I wanted to ask, did dad approve is he okay with where his daughter landed professionally?
He said I was wrong.
Dad's very proud of me now. He is. He's very proud of me now. And it was tough. Like, I would say in hindsight, like, he wasn't wrong, choosing to be your own funded designer and go down that path. Like, it was hard. Like, it's still hard. I mean, I didn't have health insurance for 10 years. I've never had anybody pay my Verizon phone bill. I didn't get maternity leave. I don't have a 401k. I've been working for myself since I was 26 years old. Like, there's definitely a lot of easier things I could have chosen. And I'd probably advise, my children to choose an easier path as well. But I really wanted to do it. Like, I was really, really passionate about this. And I felt like I was given a gift to create and design. And like, that was something I had to like let out and share with the world.
Yes. It does seem very rooted in your personal identity being expressed through this. It happens to be through jewelry, through your business line. And I think in some ways, the happiest, most fulfilled, it's never easy, but of the guests that we've met with, the ones that are in an area of work that is an expression of themselves are the ones where it feels the most worth it, even when it's hard. And then there's sort of some intrinsic motivation that comes through, which it seems like you've very much found. And again, doesn't mean it's not draining and impossible. But and actually, I was curious if there are stories. I mean, the one at the show where you couldn't bring your daughter strapped onto you, but I'm curious are there other kind of anecdotes about how it's just been impossible to be trying to do all of this at once. I know you have Dylan, and you also have sort of a blended family of other kids. There are a lot of people that want your time. Kind of how has it been? Maybe it's daily. There are times where you're just like, I don't know how to be all these things to everybody. But if there are examples of how that happens or what you think about to get yourself through that would be interesting to hear.
I think the most important thing is to like know your own priorities. Like, set your list of priorities and create the space that you need for those things to happen. So like for me, like my first priority is my family. I want to be successful, but it comes secondary to like being like the mom and the wife that I want to be. And then setting like priorities within that as to like what type of mother I want to be and what I think is important. Like, and you also teach your family what to expect of you and what like to give back. Like, I think that's like how I help support like my mental moments where I'm like having those moments of weakness is that like, okay, like if today I just have to stop because I need to switch gears and take a rest, or I need to like go to school pickup because I feel like I haven't been there for 2 weeks and that's making me feel bad. Like, you just do it. You cancel your meeting. Yeah. You put things aside. If, I'm in a business dinner and Dylan's calling me 5 times and it's clearly not just to say goodnight. Like, I'm sorry, I have to go to the bathroom. I need to step away and I need to take that phone call.
Yeah.
And I think there's moments also where like, you have to just choose like how much you can accomplish. Like I'm having a period right now where there's a lot going on at work and I'm very overwhelmed. And so I'm not working out as much. And maybe I should be working out because it would be better for my mental health. But I also really just need to sleep. Like I'm tired. Yeah. So if I don't have like a bikini body ready for Nantucket this summer, it's okay. I'm giving myself permission to choose to like get the sleep that I need, as opposed to feeling like I also need to exercise or I also need to show up for this lunch. And sometimes my friends are the ones that go by the wayside and I don't get to see them as much as I would like to or have those phone calls. But you choose the moments when you are together to really invest in people.
Totally. Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make me think too, if there are other versions of sacrifice that these seem like meaningfully like sort of day-to-day choices of how to prioritize time. But as you've been growing the business, as you've had kids in different ways arrive in your life, and other things broadening your life, like we often think about working mothers, and every mother is working, but a mother that building a business or running a business or part of a business, whatever, that inherently there are sacrifices that must be made, and often thinking about that as a terrible thing to have to do. But in reality, whether you have kids or not, sacrifices are going to be made. And in retrospect, after time has passed, often those turn into really fruitful opportunities. But can you think of trade-offs or sacrifices that you've made in the way that you build your business, or what you wanted to, maybe even what your ambitions are with the business, as your life got fuller and beautifully messier? That would be helpful to hear.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, and I, for example, have decided to dial back my wholesale. Like instead of like trying to do as many stores and travel, I made a decision. It was hard enough when Dylan was younger, but as they get older, I feel like they need you even more at home. Yeah. And so I'm like, it's actually more important for me to travel less, like the older the kids get. And now I have 3 beautiful stepdaughters, and I chose to dial back my wholesale and to not, continue to be in as many stores because it's more important for me to be home.
Yeah.
I probably would have expanded into more locations by now if I didn't choose to be a mom, but I do. I think that there's so many limits probably on the business growth side of things that I don't even think about, because my first thought is making sure that I'm doing my mom job.
Yeah.
Right. And then I try to like make my business as successful as I possibly can around that.
Yeah.
Like I don't travel to buy gems, for example, the way some of my male designers do. I have a lot of friends, like my Tucson Gem Show group of designer friends, and they're all awesome, very famous male designers, and they get to travel to cool places like Burma and all over South Africa, and they go to Brazil and they buy their gems there, and they probably get them for much better prices as well. And they benefit from those margins, but it's not in my opinion, that's safe for a woman to go and do those things. And I don't have the time to do that. So I'll probably buy the stone for $100 more in Tucson at the gem show. But
hey, tell me more about the safety element. I'm meaning literally physically unsafe, dangerous to go.
Maybe, I don't know if everybody would agree with me on that, but I personally don't feel safe as like a cute woman, like walking into like a mine in a third world country. Like,
yes. Yeah, that feels fair.
Yes. No, I asked the question because I think people should think about, like, it's the classic, a guy could go running at 8:00 at night and not think about it. A woman would probably never do that. Or if they did, they would find a friend. And I think it's just these small ways that women are accommodating a masculine standard, and there are sacrifices and trade-offs involved. I think, anyways, that's why I double clicked on the comment, because I think it's really true. People should know.
Yeah, it is. And maybe, maybe it's not that safe for them either, but like the tier of safety, like it definitely goes
nobody should be doing this.
Turns out, actually.
Did you have any role model? It was interesting what you said, coming from a traditional family, money generating dad, sort of dictating things, mom running the home, I assume, and very hands-on parent. What informed how you approached being a mother when the opportunity arose?
I really wanted my daughter and I to be best friends. Like that's really important to me. And so communication has been really important with Dylan and I since the beginning. And I also think that the child dictates to us as moms, like who they are. Like not all kids can have that type of parenting style. Dylan happens to be like a very cerebral kid and never gave me a hard time. So like I'm lucky and I very much acknowledge that. But you know, we've always had conversations. Like if she did something that I didn't want her to do, we sat down, we had a conversation about it, as opposed to it being like, you can't do this. And I think I'm also lucky that I only have one per se. Like it certainly makes things easier when you're not spread too thin and you're not like trying to multitask all different types of levels of age and conversations at the same time. I'm able to give her my focus, and I'm also very aware of that. But parenting style wise, I didn't want to be a disciplinarian. I felt like I got disciplined too much growing up. I didn't want to be a yeller. I wanted to be, you know, I wanted it to be trust based, and I wanted it to like be teamwork. And so that's what I've established.
Yeah. How about how to exist as a human that has kids? Did you have examples of how people operated? I mean, thinking about others that were very focused on their own identity and their own passions, and their kids were sort of an accessory to that. Or on the other extreme, it's all about the kids. Or even within your industry, are there examples of other mothers that are doing or trying to do what you're doing?
I don't know. I don't really think so, to be honest.
Like you're the first one.
No, I'm definitely not the first one, but just in my immediate surrounding, I think it really came from my parents. Like my mother was very nurturing and loving and created a beautiful home environment. However, my father, he was more strict, but he was also very present. Like he would travel a lot for work. When my dad was home, he was very present with us. Like he would always come home with a book, for example. Like I had this like series of books from Enid Blyton, and he always made sure he picked up the next book in the series. And he would come home, and the moments that my dad spent with us were very thoughtful and very attentive. And I never felt like we weren't getting his attention, even though he was away a lot and working a lot. And I think those two things combined are really where I come from as a combination, which is that like when Dylan needs my attention, she gets it 100%. If we're doing bedtime stories together, even if that's maybe the only half an hour we spent together that day, like it's all hers. And I'm there until she's asleep and she doesn't need me anymore. And we're going to cover every conversation point she wants. And I think that feeling of stability is what I focus on with my parenting, is to like, even if I'm not there for everything, like I'm there like when they need to be heard.
Yes. My own therapist often reminds me, she's like, the most important thing in parenting is just making sure that your child feels seen. And that doesn't have to happen 24 hours a day. That can be 7 minutes in a day, but just making sure that you see your kid and your kid knows that you see them. Like their insides, I think is, I don't know. I lean on that often.
I think it's really helpful. I think it's really a big thing. Because being present, as long as you're present and you know, and they know that they're loved and they feel safe, it doesn't need to be all the time. Like it doesn't need to be this constant feeding of the source. Like it just needs to like be present.
Yeah, to know, like her knowing that exists also allows you, I feel like, to also be present in your other things, like to be present when you're going to work and you're engaging in conversations or in a meeting, whatever. Like you don't have to feel guilty about that, because you're like, I also know that I'm a damn good mom, and like I'm also a damn good employee or employer, and like I'm good at what I do. I don't know. It releases that guilt of being like, oh, should I be home? Or like when I was with my kid last, like I was kind of working while I was with them. Like being that intentional time really matters. And kids.
Well, I still have that. I have that. I mean, I saw Dylan walking down the street, with our dog yesterday for her walk. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how many of these moments I've already missed, and like, I know that there's lots of hours cumulatively that I've missed not being able to pick her up from school or, but that's my sadness. That's my guilt. I don't think it's making her suffer.
No.
But that's when like you talk about like priorities at the end of your lifetime when you're on your deathbed. Like, what do you want to look back on and be like, what were the most important things to me that I wanted to do? Like, I feel like I think about that a lot. Like, and that's where like if I have to choose all the things I want to be able to say I accomplished in my lifetime, like choose those now, like focus on those things.
Yeah, that is a question we like to ask, is around this idea of having it all. And can anyone, let alone women or mothers, have it all in life? Is that how you think about it all and how you define it all? Are those priorities, or how much do you think about that?
Yeah, I can't have it all.
Yeah.
I know I can't have it all. So I just choose the things that are most important to me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we do these short answer closing questions. If you'd indulge us, rapid fire. You can speak for as long as you want.
I feel like we say rapid fire, but then we always talk about all of them.
I know. They bring out good stuff.
Yes.
Okay, if you could go back and tell your new mom self one thing, what would it be?
Slow down.
Slow down. Yes. What made you not able to slow down? Because I think sometimes we're always like, we should have slowed down, but there was some reason that we couldn't. And I think it would be helpful. Maybe we can think of the unlock, because a lot of people are in it right now. V's in it right now.
You're like, couldn't.
Yeah.
Can't,
like within our control to slow down. How do we do? Yeah. It's like permission to, I don't know.
I think it's the sense of hypervigilance. Like, I think we're immediately like, a lot of us kick into being hypervigilant. Like, suddenly I had this baby. I'm like, I have to also make sure the house is clean and that I tidied up and that I remembered to do all the things that I did normally and fit in all this new craziness that's just suddenly come in.
Yes. Yeah. All right. If you could provide something to yourself or your family along this journey of motherhood thus far that would have made it a little bit easier, is there anything that comes to mind, or a theme of things that comes to mind?
Giving myself permission to do less.
Yes.
Easier said than done. One day we'll figure it out.
I
don't know. I don't know how or when, but that sounds nice.
I know. These are important. Like, if and when one day our kids have kids, we should hand them a sticky note of, here's all the permission slips you need.
Right.
Okay, to that end, actually, your kids may be listening, or one day they will. Anything you'd like to say to them?
That I love you so much, and you're the absolute best thing that ever happened to me. And I would choose you first every time.
Yeah. Beautiful. And she can go into whatever industry she wants. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to go into finance.
Please don't become a jewelry designer.
That is sweet. Is the store? Is it meaningful to her? Does she have like a emotional connection to the store and to your work, or is it actually beautifully like kind of separate? It's irrelevant.
Oh no, she is so proud of me. She's so proud of us. I've said many times along the way, like, Mommy's going to quit. I'm going to quit. Like, let's just shut this down. And she's like, no. And I'm like, that means I'll get to spend more time with you. And she's like, then you won't do what you love.
Oh, that's a good egg. Good job.
I feel like she's like, how lucky is she to be able to see that you had a dream and you stuck with it, and now you're on the other side and you've like done it. Obviously you have to continue to choose to do it every day, but like almost where you learned opposite of kind of like rebelling from what was expected. Like, she has the opportunity to like learn alongside you and to be like, oh, if I have a dream, I could probably do it because my mom did that. Like, that is an incredible thing to learn from your parents.
Yeah.
She probably thinks you're like superhuman or superwoman.
Absolutely. You're a wonderful role model.
Yeah.
And thank you really for sharing your time with us and sharing the story with us and building your business the way you are. And I love that you do it your own way.
Yeah.
There are things you won't compromise on. And I'm grateful that those are the things you're not compromising on. It like makes it easier and makes space for all of us. So thank you so much.
You're inspiring me to learn how to pivot. I really like that. I think that, like, I don't know.
Try it. Just try with something silly and simple.
You make it sound easy, but it worked out so well for you. So maybe I'll try.
Yeah.
I'm going to go pivot.
We're all doing our best. And thank you so much for listening to me and letting me like chat with you. And again, like, thank you so much for this important conversation. I really appreciate it for all of us.
Thank you. Couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. I know it's like heavy and feels vulnerable. I hope it wasn't as scary as it felt like before you came on.
No, it was so fun.
Well,
So
Katie
amazing.
Jetter, I need to go buy a lot of jewelry.
I know.
I need to get into the jewelry world.
Seriously. I didn't know that there was this whole other like universe to it. And
Yeah.
also male dominated in some ways, which is like so fucking annoying. Like, can't we have one thing? But she's like, I'm here and I'm doing it. So piss off. I love it.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It also, she made me be like, I need to go back to my 20s/teens and come up with a life plan.
I know. Well, it's so interesting because also for so many people, like we all have that, like, I'm going to be a vet, I'm going to be an astro, like whatever it is. And no, like most people don't actually do it, but she has this interesting methodical path of like, this is what I'm going to do. And this is the time. And this is when it has to happen by whatever, but also simultaneously having the ability to pivot and change and adjust is like really impressive that she still ends up at the end goal that she was looking for. I'm like, how are you doing that?
She's always found a way.
Like you still made it work.
Yes.
You pivoted, but like not too far.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's incredible.
Yes, I totally agree. She's always found a way. I think she said this herself, the left brain, right brain combo, which I think allows her to be practical and pragmatic and have a plan and be financially responsible. But then the other side that allows her to be creative and full of self-expression. Like her line is beautiful. It really is. It's for the individuals, the individualistic types, the ones that can't do the yoga class because everyone else is doing it too. Her line is really fun. So yeah, I'm really glad that she shared her story. And it also is a nice, like edgy, strong female thing, which I think is what we're trying to, with this whole brand and anyone that we talk to, it's like the, I don't know, talking about mothers as these strong, badass people. Because we are.
Yeah.
And we're also, you know, the first hug in the morning mommies. But I think there's also the strong, you know, metaphorically stiletto wearing suit jacket type. So yeah, I think she very much represents that. I wonder, I should have said it at the time, but when she was like, I just want to be best friends with my daughter, I was like, maybe immediately think of Gilmore Girls, of course.
Oh,
I
like, love
that's
that.
the model.
Are you Lorelai?
I know.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a great combo. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
You're crushing it. I
know.
admire you.
I know. I'm going to be brave and go into her store.
Yes. I feel like
and buy some stuff.
Yes. It's not, I don't know if it's anything like her as a human. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable going in there.
Sure that no, this is me and my own baggage.
Get out of your own way, Sarah.
Totally. That's what this year is about. That's what we're doing.
Getting out of
your own way. Well, cool. So we're recording this on a Monday. So good for us for being so on it and
Absolutely
like able to think about joy and anything. But do we have any thoughts on where our joyfulness might be this week? This day?
Let me dig for this one, Sarah. No, not that anything has been bad, but it's just a little, I don't know. For some reason on Monday, it is hard a little bit to find.
I know. You're just like waking up to
the
what
world
you have
again.
to do.
Does something come to mind for you?
I think we talked about this last time. I think just to air it out for everyone else that's dealing with it too. This time of year, the end of the school year is just a state of chaos. Like it's just everyone becomes a little unhinged. The extra stuff to show up for at school or to at least or to figure out how to not show up for at school and be okay with it. The kids getting rattled about some change coming up because school's ending. Figuring out how to pivot to whatever form of childcare is happening over the summer. That's a patchwork puzzle, whatever it is. So I feel like I feel very scattered more than I want to. And you know what I should try to do? I might sit down for 3 minutes and try to meditate.
Go off. Do you do this?
I know.
Do you like free ball it or
2.5 years?
Do you like Headspace or like how are we going to meditate?
I've used Headspace in the past.
Maybe
I'll go with it to free ball it.
I don't know. Like
that's the only kind of meditating that I do.
Don't think about anything.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to sit and meditate because that's what for anyone to know, I aspire to be a meditating person. I aspire to drink tea and do yoga, and I'm just not that person. But when I did, I went through a phase of trying to force myself to make it a regular habit. And I think the best description I have of what it does feel like when you do even just 90 seconds of like sitting, truly honoring that like 90 seconds of whatever breathing with your eyes closed, is you emerge from that and you feel a little bit more like, you know, in the Matrix where there's like the main character and all this like stuff is swirling
Oh, the
around
like,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like in the middle, but it's like slowed down and like you're just kind of anticipating everything. Like that's a little bit of how I emerge from any minor dabbling with meditating, which is that instead of everything coming at you like full speed, it's all like a little slow and you can like matrix that shit a little bit.
I love that
So,
for you.
and that's for me. I'm going to do that. 90 seconds, we can do it.
Amazing. I love this for you. You
Yes.
could do hard things. I love it.
Where are you at? And if it didn't spark any ideas, we can just be like, ain't got no joy this week. That's okay.
No. I feel like I do have moments of joy. I think a moment of joy is that I survived a few days that I definitely was like overcommitted, my fault. Just like had a lot going on and I got a little bit overwhelmed, but then I did it and now I'm like really proud of myself and I'm celebrating that like, ooh, it worked out and that's because of like me and I did that and I felt proud of myself. So
yes,
that is a moment of joy of like feeling accomplished and acknowledging that like for the first time in a long time, acknowledging that like, oh, maybe I do a lot of things, even if it doesn't feel like I do all the time. Like, I think I'm very hard on myself about like, well, I don't have a 9 to 5 right now. And it's like, yeah, but you're also like doing a lot.
Yeah. Oh,
and so my moment of joy is like acknowledging that for myself for the first time in maybe since I had a kid. So
yes,
I'll give myself
it
that.
really is. I was thinking about this over the weekend. It's the invisible labor that even to us doing the labor make invisible too. Like we take it for granted. We assume it to be done. If we didn't do it, someone else would probably find a way. It's not that important. Someone
like
needs to do
literally
it, so I'm doing it.
everything. Yeah. I had one of these like moments yesterday. Followers, listeners, Sara and I talked on the phone yesterday, but shortly after, I was just like, oh my God, like my brain just feels like the past few days is like short circuiting and I'm just like, like what's going on? And I had this moment with my partner where I was like, there was just so many questions happening. What do you want for dinner? What should he eat for dinner? Do you want alone time or do you want me to go to the park? Do you want to go for a family walk? And I was like, I don't want to make decisions. I was like, a question right now is driving me nuts. I was like, I need you to stop talking. I was like, it's not even you. It's just like all day, every day, I'm making decisions of what's the kid having for dinner? What are we having for dinner? Oh, the laundry has to get done, like whatever. And I was just like,
wait, funny anecdote on that point. Back long ago, back in the day when Obama was president, there was a really funny interview where he was quoted. They were asking him and Joe Biden of young, I guess, being like, that was clever. Everyone should be laughing. That they were like, what do you want to do when you're like no longer president? And they were like, I think Obama said, he's like, I dream about going to an island, opening up a shop where all we do is we sell white t-shirts, all the same size.
Yes.
I was like, because then you have no decisions to be made. It's only one white t-shirt, no sizing options, like take it or leave it and move on. And I do think about that when I'm like in these states of
really good,
like overwhelm where there's just like too many macro decisions. I'm like, I just want to fucking be on an island selling white t-shirts of a single size and you can take it or leave it. And that's it.
Me starting to cry, realizing my dream is moving to an island selling just white
t-shirts. Plain white tees.
Crazy. You just like don't like again, I feel like so lucky because I obviously am biased. I think I have like the best partner who is so supportive and does so much and like whatever. And I still feel that way. So I'm like, oh my God. Like,
I know.
is
Imagine
everyone
if you had
else
a dud.
okay? But
I know.
Truly, like it's really I don't know. But I was like, I think I don't want to hear a question. Like, I think just stop.
Yeah, just do it.
Someone else do something. I don't know.
That's why when we hear these stories of, mothers talking about how grateful they are when someone just shows up.
Yes.
And just does
That's what it is.
And just does the thing that you can't even articulate what. I think I keep thinking about this idea of like, why can't we ask for help? And it's a million little micro things that almost the singular ask is insufficient.
Yep.
So it's like, I just need help with someone to empty the dishwasher. But it's actually like empty the dishwasher while you're packing lunch, while you're getting your child dressed, while you're making sure the other kids are getting ready to get out the door to go to school, while you're remembering to get their library books, while you're doing all like, so it's the everything on top of each other all at once, because you only have 7 minutes between finishing breakfast and getting in the car and getting to school.
Yeah.
Where you just need someone who gets that and can just show up. This is why, for me, the beauty of like you and like our greatest nannies are the ones that have been able to like dial into that space and just be like, I got this. And you get all of the micro elements of it that make it so hard. But yeah, these stories where people are like, I don't know, I actually think of Elizabeth Warren had a really funny, one of her like origin story anecdotes is like, I forget if she's in law school or something. She has her first kid. They're not sure how they're going to do all of this. And then Aunt B shows up.
Yes.
Remember, she's like, I can't be there tomorrow, but I'll be there on Wednesday. Yes. And she just shows up with like a suitcase and like moves in. And you're
Mary
just like,
Poppins for real. Yeah.
I know. You gotta find Aunt B.
Truly. I know. I love that. It is, we're talking to, was it Lindsay who was talking about the way her mom and also Tracy.
Yeah.
Who both have said just like, the way that my family has showed up without me having to ask is just like the most spectacular gift.
Yes.
And like,
and without any expectation of anything in return.
Right.
Yeah, it's not our natural state here, I think, but
we'll get that one day.
I know. Wait, I also want to read a little plug that will aid maybe in this mindset of not giving a fuck a little bit, but
tell it to
we
us,
have
Sarah.
to remember one of our sponsors is Little Saints, which is this very cool rock star edgy non-alcoholic beverage, but it's more than that. It's like this, it's a cocktail. It's a mushroom infused cocktail.
I love it.
And you can drink it and feel all cocktaily and cool, whatever that word is. And you can also just relax and get into a meditative state. The branding is so awesome. The woman that started it is so awesome. And this brand is her baby. It's Little Saints. Use the code TheMothers20 and you can get 20% off.
Look at us go.
I know.
Thank you, Little Saints. As someone who doesn't really drink, it's an ideal drink.
This is your go-to.
This
you
is
actually,
the
brand, you would kind of, you jive with this brand too. Okay, my friend. We're going to go soldier on.
We're going to go meditate.
Take this week by storm. Oh my God. Yes. I already forgot.
Go
meditate for 90 seconds.
I'm going to go figure out which island I'm going to and order wholesale t-shirts in one size.
Yes.
Always.
Actually, that should be our merch.
Just a white
We had
t-shirt.
no time. Here's a white tee.
Honestly, there's something on there. And it's just like, just the tag is the mothers, but it's printed out like if you were sending your kids to camp and you had to write their name on it. That's our merch.
Yes. Simple. No decision required. All right. I love you.
Love you.
I'll catch you on the flip side. Okay. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode and we can reach even more rock stars like you. The Mothers is a production of Backline Media, shining a light on those who carry the team.